better than most. What did you make of his reaction to that soundbite? The fact that he is being called basically, well, I guess I don't want to say Taco Trump, but Taco it is.
It's a very delicious nickname, as humiliating.
Knowing Trump, he'll probably try to coin that and make money off of it down the road.
I think it's the word chicken that really...
It is. You're 100% correct. It's the word chicken because he doesn't want to be perceived as anything other than a superhero, right? Than a godlike figure. This is the whole problem. The problem is we're looking at it the wrong way. It's not getting to him. Yeah, it caught him off guard, and so he looks surprised. But it's not getting to him the way Democrats think. This isn't going to be the thing that changes the outcome of 2026. And as Democrats, we have to stop. We're never going to beat the bully in the playground when it comes to name calling. That Trump singularly owns. What we have to do is we have to start to impress upon people. We need to fight this fight in a manner that the Democrats have never fought it before. The old playbook that they have, that Ken Martin has, that was written by, I don't know, somebody in Hillary Clinton's basement, it's over. It doesn't work. All right? We need to start coming up with things like consumers pay tariffs, or tariffs are taxes. These three words, which is what Trump does, right? Build the wall, lock her up, mass deportation. Now, it's always easy to remember three-word slogans. We need to do the same thing. And that way, when you go to the big box store and then you see that the cost on something that you paid $10 for is now $21, you understand consumers pay tariffs, or tariffs are taxes. We have to let people understand that things are not good. And while all of this is going on, if you read the New York Times article, his favorability ratings are going up. So that's why I don't believe that calling him Taco Trump or whatever they're calling him is making any difference at all.
So you don't think that calling him a chicken, mocking him, might bait him into doing something even more aggressively stupid? That's my concern here.
More aggressively stupid than
like
what's already been taking place?
Like on the tariffs, like he reduced the tariffs and maybe he'll jack them up again because he wants to show what a big, strong man he is.
And if, in fact, that they don't come to the table, which most analysts believe that they will not, will he not jack the tariffs up again? Simply because it's not about policy. For Trump, it's about power. And he wants everybody to come to him, bend the knee, kiss the ring, and then say, Trump, you're right. You're the most powerful man on the planet. All hail King Donald. What is it that we can do to get back in your good grace?
So is he purposefully erratic and chaotic then?
Yeah, he's always managed through chaos. The Trump Organization, we operated through chaos. He also did the exact same thing at the Trump Organization that he's doing in the White House, which is you pit one individual against another. This is just nothing with Trump is ever new. It's always a rehash of what was done before.
The one thing I was going to say, though, is this was not the Democrats calling him chicken. This was the industry insider, the traders. And he's always had a thing, correct me if I'm wrong, he's always sought the approval of the powerful traders in the Wall Street and the business elites in this country. He covets their attention. He covets their respect, as you said. And so when this name came out, it wasn't coming out as a Democratic punchline. Nobody's campaigning on Donald Trump being a chicken. It's the people who are living day to day on the trading floor who have to guess which way they have to trade or strategize about how they have to trade, are calling Donald Trump a chicken.
And I would argue voted for him.
What's that?
A lot of them.
And a lot of voted for him. And so and that's why I'm saying to you, and just to push back on your point, and I don't disagree with you that Democrats need to come up with something better, but this is coming from the industry and the Wall Street and the rich people that he wants to be a part of, and they're telling him you're a chicken.
No, it's coming from the lower level analysts and those that are on Wall Street. It's not coming from the Jamie Dimons. It's not coming from the Steve Schwarzmans. They're not calling him Taco Trump. It's the young traders that came up with the nickname. He doesn't care. And that's the whole point I'm trying to make to the Democratic Party. This is not the strategy that we need in order to ensure 2026.
So I have to ask, who do you think punched Elon Musk in the eye?
Well, there's a lot of reports. I don't know. I mean, it would have been nice.
Do you believe it was X, his son?
No.
You don't buy that?
No.
You don't think he has like a really mean left hook or something?
Yeah, I'm not sure. Look, for all you know, he threw
toddler?
a fire truck or something at him because Elon is irritating. I don't know the answer to that.
Well, dolls are harder to come by nowadays, so it may not be.
That's true.
Well, it's not that they're not harder to come by. They're just, I don't know, 2.5 times the expense because they're all manufactured in China.
Yeah. But what do you make of the bromance coming to an end, right? I mean, there's so many layers to this. Let's just start on a personal level, right? Whether or not Doge lives on, what that looks like, what lasting damage he has done. Put that aside for a moment. We'll get into that. Give me your take on the way Donald Trump, and I would argue, used Elon Musk for his money over the course of the last 7 to 8 months, helps him get elected, and then realizes he's been somewhat of a liability because of his quirkiness, the way he behaves, that he's now basically discarding him.
Wow, Eamon, you're like a psychic. I mean, I've been saying this now forever. Donald doesn't care about anyone or anything other than himself. Look at what he did to me, for God's sakes. Guy who was with him for a decade and a half, who literally would have taken a bullet for him, but for him being the one pulling the trigger. I mean, I said from the very start that this bromance was going to come to an end. In fact, I was on a couple of the Msnbc shows, and I'm going to go one step even further again, and I'm going to say Trump will ultimately go after Elon's money next because it bothers him that he is the richest man in the world. Yes, he used him for his money. Now he's going to go and he's going to figure out how Elon, with his companies, took advantage of the United States of America. They're going to turn around, use Doge to go, right? Government efficiency, fraud, waste, and abuse. How is it that he got $7,000 as a credit for every Tesla vehicle that was sold? That's where his billions were made. Well, why should the United States pay for electric vehicles? Pay your own car if that's what you want. So they're going to claw it back. He's going to do to Elon Musk, my prediction, what Mohammed bin Salman did to the other members of the royal family.
So let me ask you a broader question, because you can speak from experience on this. Why is it that so many Trump allies mistakenly assume that the loyalty goes both ways?
Well, they don't.
Well, you did.
No, I didn't. I always knew that loyalty with Trump, it's like First Avenue, goes one way, but I thought I would be different. I wrote about it in my book, Disloyal.
Does it seem like Elon thinks he's different, though?
100%.
Or thought?
And so does Lutnick, and so does Bessent, and so does Marco Rubio, and so does even J.D. Vance. They all think that they're different, that Donald is going to shine the light on them. When push comes to shove,
why?
The perceived...
Why does everybody have this same delusion?
I don't have the answer to that. It's just, he's a cult leader, and we were all indoctrinated into the cult.
All right. Michael, stick around.
And coming up next, which is why we want Michael here, we're going to talk about Trump's flurry of pardons, including some to campaign contributors. And later, some worrying health developments driven by RFK Jr. flew under the radar this week, but they matter more than most people realize.